Rap City, City. Let's get into it. What's going on, y'all? This be your boy, Scotty by Nature TV, and we are here for another review of another BET documentary. And this time, it's all about Rap City. It's all about Rap City, you guys. I think you guys know that if you was watching me last year, you know that I covered the other documentary that they did, which was all about the Murder Inc. story. Y'all know, I know a lot of you guys gave me a lot of great compliments on the covering of that story or whatever. I enjoyed it. And as you guys know, if you've been watching me for years, you do know that I am a big music head. I love music. If I had it my way, my channel would still be about, reality TV and celebrity gossip, but it would mostly be about music. That was the plan from the very beginning when I first got my Mr. Still Standing channel, that this would be a music channel. But I love pop culture. I love reality TV, and that's the lane that I went into. Hopefully one day I can really just dive into the music thing, because I feel like I'm at my happiest point doing videos when I'm talking about music, because I'm very passionate about music and lyrics and things of that nature. It's so many videos in my head that I can make about music all by myself. You know what I mean? Like, I could do so many videos about music. But however, we're going to get into this. This is a documentary about the BET success story, which is Rap City. All right. I got my notes here. You know what I mean? And I'm up at after midnight doing this video for you guys, because I was not going to go to bed until you guys got the videos that I promised you guys. Okay. So it's 1989, right? It's 1989. It's a tough time. It's the crack explosion. And it's a lot of racial tensions. There's a lot of riots going on. There's the AIDS epidemic. That was a really dark time for people during the 80s. And Rap City was born, right? Rap City started in 1989, the year that I was born, February the 12th, 1989. Okay? So then, back in that time, there were not many media outlets for hip hop and hip hop artists, because radio stations wasn't really playing hip hop full time either. Like, hip hop was still in the beginning stages, and didn't nobody know what it was going to bring. Didn't nobody know where it was going. But we do know that it was a growing genre, but they wasn't getting the respect that they probably get in 2023, right? So back then, hip hop was something that you got from your friends. Like, if you went to New York and you got this tape or whatever, like you would, because hip hop originated in New York City. Everybody knows that. And you probably went to New York, came back and had a demo tape, and there you was a rapper. You was a rapper. And during this time, this was pretty much the golden era of hip hop, where you had the likes of, Rakim, Big Daddy Kane, KRS-One, LL Cool J. You know what I mean? All of these artists that I listen to today. One of my favorite Big Daddy Kane songs is Smooth Operator. One of my favorite songs. Like, I'll ride to that song on a Sunday afternoon, just driving, blasting Smooth Operator all day. Okay. Rakim was always fine to me. I remember one of the first times I heard him, like, as a child, I went back and listened to all his music, because the first time I really heard Rakim was on the Truth Hurts record, Addictive. Y'all remember that song? He breaks me down. He fills me up. He fills my cup. I like it rough. Remember the song? It was 2002. I was going to the 8th grade. That was my first time hearing Rakim on wax. Like, I've always heard of the name. He was always one of the greatest. I always heard his name, but I never just heard him on wax. And that was my first time hearing him on wax at the age of 13. So I went back and I listened to all the records that him and Eric B did. Fire. Okay. Then you got LL Cool J, one of my favorite rappers of all time growing up. Loved LL Cool J. When I'm alone in my room, sometimes I stare at the wall, and in the back of my mind, I hear my conscience call, telling me I need a girl who's as sweet as a dove. For the first time in my life, I see I need love. There I was, giggling about the games that I had played with many hearts, and I'm not saying no names. What? Okay. What's my other song by LL Cool J that I like? I want a girl with extensions in her hair, bamboo earrings, at least 2 pair, a Fendi bag with a bad attitude too. That's all I need to get me in a good mood. She could walk with a switch, with talk with street swing. Street slang. I love it when a woman ain't scared to do a thing. Standing at the bus stop, sucking on a lollipop. Once she gets popping, it's hard to make the honey stop. She like to dance to the rap jam. She's sweet as brown sugar with the candy yams, candy coated complexion. Used to Cabernet. I see it from the girls that's all around the way. Hey. Or you're jiggling, baby. Go ahead, baby. You're jiggling, baby. Go ahead. Like, what? Listen to LL Cool J to this day. LL Cool J is like an influence on me. Like, even my style of dressing has a lot to do with LL Cool J. Like, I have the Kango hats, I have the gold rope chains, I have the Adidas sweatsuits, tracksuits, I have all of that because I dress like, I love LL. He's like a big inspiration on me as far as fashion goes. Like, I've always dressed up like a rapper. You know what I mean? And LL is one of those people that I genuinely love. And I would love to meet him in person. I would love to do an interview with him. Like, LL is a legend. And I think that he was probably one of the first, I ain't gonna say he was the first, but maybe one of the first hip hop heartthrobs that was out there. You know what I mean? He was the first rapper to do a love ballad. I need love. I just recited some of the lyrics today, like completely. All right. LL is that dude. And I ain't just saying it because I'm staying. LL is that dude, okay? Because mama said knock you out. Don't call it a comeback. And I said don't call it a comeback 3 years ago. That's why Scotty by Nature is here today. All right. So we in the early 80s, and there was a celebration of Black people on TV. Like, you had shows like What's Happening. You had shows like Good Times. You know what I mean? You had shows like The Jeffersons, or, stuff like that. And any time back then that you would see anything Black on TV, it was celebrated. You was happy about it. That's the things that you wanted to see. It was because back then it was scarce to see a lot of Black folks on TV. You feel what I'm saying? And there was a lot of content for Black people to look at, a lot of content for Black people to watch, a lot of relatable things that Black people could look at. It wasn't anything that was outlandish or out of order. It was stuff that we would see outside of our windows every single day. And being that this was the 80s, which what I feel was one of the roughest times for Black people, period, watching that stuff on TV, watching Good Times, watching What's Happening, watching Amen, watching stuff like that was like something that was positive, and it was an eye opener, and it was great to see, entertaining, taking us out of our regular lives all the time. You know what I mean? That's what that was. So all hail to Bob Johnson, because if it wasn't for Bob Johnson, there would not be BET, Black Entertainment Television. And it's crazy because, we watching this documentary and we're seeing how things began, and it's telling a lot of stories that I myself wasn't really privy to. And that's what makes this documentary so interesting, because it's filled with rich history and stuff. And it made me wish that I lived in that time. You feel what I'm saying? So we get into Miss Deborah Lee. She was a CEO for BET for 13 years, but she worked for BET for 32 years. When she met Bob Johnson, she was a senior associate at a law firm in Washington, D.C., okay? And BET came to cable TV in 1984. That was during a time where most people didn't even have cable. There was no internet for you to watch stuff off Wi-Fi or nothing like that. Didn't nobody have cable back then. Like, cable was beginning to become a thing during that time. And BET had 10 million subscribers. And not only that, BET was headquartered in Washington, D.C. And according to the people in the documentary, DC was the first Atlanta. You know how Atlanta is now the modern day Black Mecca of the United States? DC It was the black Mecca for a long period of time. And you know, I did not know that. I didn't know that. But I did used to hear that that was one of the blackest cities in the nation, but I never knew that it was like what you would call a black Mecca, like a Atlanta would, like Atlanta is. You know what I mean? And I used to wonder growing up, why did they call, you know, Washington, D.C. Chocolate City? Now we see why it was Chocolate City. It was all black, the black Mecca. If you wanted to be somebody, you came to DC. Like that's what it as a if you wanted to be somebody and you was black and you wanted a new movement, you came to DC. You know what I mean? So that's what that means. It was Chocolate City. And I used to wonder, why do they call DC Chocolate City? And now we see why they call it Chocolate City. Very interesting. So then Video Soul. Everybody knows what Video Soul is. Video Soul was a video music show that was hosted by none other than good-looking ass Donnie Simpson. Everybody named Mama know what Video Soul was, right? Even I knew what Video Soul was when I was a child. Because I'm gonna tell you this: growing up, when my mother used to go to work, well, she still go to work, but you know what I mean. Like as a kid growing up, my older cousins would keep us. All of those girls were in college. They were going to Jackson State University. They were all in college in the 90s. And they grew in, you know, they graduated in 89, 91, 92, and 93. It was four cousins that used to keep us all the time. Me and my baby sister all the time. It was my cousin Tari, born in 1989. I mean, not born, graduated 1989. My cousin Shannon, who graduated in 1991. My cousin Daphne, who graduated in 1992. And my cousin Davita, who graduated in 1993. So for the most part, they would keep us. And they always used to watch Video Soul. And I did not know what that was. I just knew that that was a video show. And they loved watching videos. And my cousins were so deep into music, just like my mother was. Because see, my mother was a big TLC fan, and my mother was a big Mary J. Blige fan and a big Keith Sweat fan. And she used to look at MTV raps all the time. Like she was a big fan of music. And I think a lot of my family members were big fans of music. Like my cousin Sean, who's probably watching this right now. I think she also graduated in 1991. She lived in Jackson though. So I didn't see her much as I saw the other four girls that I just called out. But she was also into music. Very much so into music. Still into music to this day. So a lot of my cousins used to get me into music because they kept their TVs on BET. And Video Soul was one of those shows that they used to watch all the time. But the thing about Video Soul was when it came down to rap videos, they didn't want to air hip hop videos. Like it was a time where they was getting a whole lot of content for hip hop videos. But that's not the type of show that they wanted. So then there was like this whole discussion with the BET people basically stating, what are we going to do about these hip hop videos? Where are they going to go? Because they're not going on Video Soul. So what are we going to do about that? Bob Johnson did not like hip hop. He thought that hip hop music was a fad, not a business side, not no business. He thought that, you know, hip hop was something like disco. It's a fad. It's gonna die. It ain't worth it. You know, we're not gonna put this on the network. It's not respected. We're not doing it. But little did he know that hip hop would turn into one of the biggest genres of music, one of the most urgent genres of music, one of the most important genres of music. Who knew that it would turn into what it is today? Who knew? I don't think anybody knew. Apparently, Bob Johnson didn't know because he wasn't checking for hip hop at that time. He just wasn't checking for the at all. And that's on period. So when it came down to them playing a lot of music videos, BET played a lot of music videos because they had a shoestring budget. So they did not have the budget at the time to create other shows, other things. They did not have the budget. So they just had the means of, we're going to play this video. We're going to play these videos. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. We're going to do that. And of course, they didn't have the budget due to the fact that they were a brand new network. So they wasn't going to have the budget to do all the things that other networks probably could. They were still on the come up during this time. And so we meet Prime, the original producer, one of the co-creators and producers and original hosts of Rap City. Prime says on the documentary that BET originally did not want a rap show. And the only person that was willing to hear him out and see this idea through was a guy by the name of Alvin who worked in the BET offices. He was the only one that believed in the Rap City project. The only one who believed in the Rap City project. So Alvin had this idea because they wasn't playing rap videos like that at all. It was about time for school to start back again. It was like near Labor Day weekend. And they were saying, okay, what we're going to do, we're going to play nothing but rap videos all week before school starts. And that was like a phenomenon. That was something that the audience appreciated because rap videos really wasn't being played nowhere. Like you had MTV. MTV wasn't playing no damn music videos. You had VH1. VH1 wasn't playing no damn rap videos. And most of the time, if they chose not to play it, they'll say it's too black, it's too urban. One of our R&B legends by the name of Stephanie Mills, who's not a hip hop artist, but I'm using her as an example. She actually did an interview with DJ Vlad talking about how she always felt that networks like MTV and VH1 were racist. She could never get her videos played on those networks because too black, too urban. We don't want to play that. But BET always showed her the love that she deserved because she was a black artist. So then rap at this time, this is 1980, this is like the late 80s. Rap was mainly in like NYC and LA. And they had to establish rapport with people to get the artists to come to DC and be on the show. You know what I mean? So as we know it, if you was a rapper, you was on the East Coast or you was on the West Coast, but mostly on the East Coast. There was no such thing as dirty South rap. There was no such thing as the Midwest wine. No, it wasn't no such thing as that. Most rap was in NYC and the other half was in LA, you know? And they had to make those rapports in order for the rappers or the to come to DC to be on the show. You know what I mean? They had to do little things. They had to do what they had to do, right? So now we get into the very first host of Rap City, a comedian by the name of Chris Thomas. He is the OG host of Rap City. He was the quote unquote mayor of Rap City. Um, when he first started, he was out. As a matter of fact, he knew hip hop. He knew it well. He was out there on tour with a lot of the hip hop acts, hosting their concerts and doing things like that. At first, Chris Thomas, they didn't understand. Like he didn't understand because they had him doing stuff off a teleprompter. They was telling him what to say and telling him what to do. And when Will Smith, who had the record Summertime at the time, he was a host. No, not a host. He was a guest on Rap City. And he was the one who told the production team to let Chris Thomas do him and not be on the teleprompter. He knows who he is. He knows how to do this. Let him do him. And that put Chris Thomas in a better position. He was able, because Will Smith spoke up for him, and he was able to do him, not be scripted. You know what I mean? And for me, I would appreciate something like that because I'm not necessarily a person that does well with scripts. That was 2 instances where I was asked to do something and they had a script ready for me. Like I remember when I was asked to do like the pre-shows for The Circle. And I didn't like that with The Circle Atlanta. And I didn't, and I was down for it, but he had the script ready for me. The producer had a script for me. And I'm like, a script? I ain't no script type of bitch. And why did it not happening? Now I remember TTB. He gave me the opportunity to do like this show called The Rundown, like maybe 2 years ago. And I was down to do that too. But he had a script too, and I don't like scripts. Like, I'm so used to being my own authentic self, unscripted, unfiltered, that if anybody offer me a script, I'm gonna look at you like, I don't need no script. I know how to do this You feel what I'm saying? And it's not no cocky shit. It's not. But because you're so used to doing stuff on your own terms and you so used to doing it the way you do it and being you, you want to be authentic. And I think that's what Chris Thomas's issue was. He probably felt that he wasn't necessarily being authentic being on Rap City due to the fact that they had him scripted. So he was thankful to Will Smith for speaking up for him in that manner to make sure that he was able to do the job the way he saw fit. And if I was Chris Thomas, I would be very, very thankful for Will Smith. Like, real talk, I definitely would have been thankful for him. Like I said, these are so many gems in this documentary that I never knew anything about, and it makes it so exciting to talk about. So then Prime was the first person to put Jay-Z on TV. Jay-Z's first time being on TV was on Rap City. Nobody knew who Jay-Z was. Nobody knew that Jay-Z was going to be the mogul that he is. Nobody knew that he was going to be a dead president to represent me, or it's the hard knock life for us. It's the hard knock life for us. Say that. Or H to the Izzo, E to the V to the Izzy. The shizzle my nizzle used to dribble down in VA. Like, you never knew. You never knew that that's what's gonna be. The mogul, the father, the husband of Beyonce. Like, we never knew that that's who he was gonna be when we saw him on Rap City at the beginning. So then there's Shaka Zulu. Shaka Zulu introduced Ludacris on Rap City before Ludacris was even signed. Ludacris was still in the radio, like he was an intern fresh out of high school, and he had got his first opportunity being on Rap City rapping. And they actually show like the clip of him rapping and shit like that. And I'm like, that is so cool that was his first big opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is why I said that my channel was supposed to be a music based channel. Like, it was supposed to be about that. Like, that's what I wanted it to be. And that's what I still desire to move my content into that particular direction, but still keep it about pop culture. But I would love to do more music content like this. Like, this is the type of stuff that I shine at by talking about stuff like this. Like, I love seeing everybody's like beginning, because Ludacris is another person. Like, when you see him on Rap City, you see him as this little kid fresh out of high school. He's an intern at a radio station. You don't know that he's going to be a Grammy Award winning rapper, being in big ass blockbuster films like Too Fast, Too Furious and shit like that. Like, you never know that. And you see that and you look at yourself and you be like, this is where they were. So it's like, if they could do it, I can do it too. Like, it was like a humbling thing, like laying in my bed watching this a minute ago. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, it was amazing seeing these humble beginnings. And you never get to see that. You don't get to see things like that these days. But this is a show, a platform that gave them the leeway to be who they are and get into what they wanted to get into. And it's amazing. So then, during this time where we had Rap City, there was MTV Raps, and Video Music Box. Everybody in their mama remember Video Music Box, okay? Everybody remembers Video Music Box. I wasn't even old enough to call Video Music Box to order videos, but I definitely remember Video Music Box growing up as a kid, because again, my four cousins, Tari, Shane, Daphne, and Davita, they used to watch that shit. Sean, they used to look at that type of stuff. I remember the video box. I was way too young to remember Yo MTV Raps, but I know that my mother used to watch it though. But I was a young boy. But I remember that my mom used to sit up there with her combat boots and the cross colors on, watching Yo MTV Raps. Period. During this time, there was Rick James. Rick James blasted MTV for not playing black videos. Rick James felt like, we black, we got a voice, we got music. Why y'all not supporting our brands? Why y'all not playing our music? Why y'all not giving us the opportunity to be seen? MTV looked at hip hop music as secondary. MTV was more so for pop music, country music, rock and roll. There was really no place for hip hop and R&B. There was no place for them, which is why it was very important to have BET, because there was no other place for hip hop artists or even just urban artists in general to promote their music, to bring their music to the masses. Nowhere else but BET, because MTV didn't give up, and neither did VH1. So, yeah. Prince DeJour, he was the second host of Rap City. He was the former, he used to host Teen Summit at first, and he was the host of Rap City from 1991 to 1994. Now, at the very beginning, producers felt like DeJour was way too mellow for this show. And he had to try to figure out how he was going to pull it off, because they didn't know if he was going to stay, because they wasn't really feeling him. Like, they felt like he wasn't hip hop. You know, he did a good job on Teen Summit, but this is Rap City, and Rap City more gritty, more urban, more hard, and they needed him to fit that ratio. He did whatever he could to turn that voice on and off, and he got it. And that's how he kept his job. But the thing of it was, he dropped out of high school for 2 years. And not only did he do that, but he became a drug dealer. But even in the midst of that, he dreamt of being on BET. And not in a million years did he ever know that he was going to be on BET. After all that, you dropped out of high school, you were a drug dealer. You cooking up dope in the crock pot, as Migos would say. And now you're on BET. BET practically saved this man's life. And it goes back to what I just said. It's things like that that gives me hope for the things that I want to accomplish. You know what I mean? And I listen, you know, and I, like I said, I don't want to bring this back to me. But you looking at that and you see the humble beginning, and you like, well, he was doing this, so nothing can stop me from doing what I'm doing. I'm in a humble beginning right now. If we're being honest, I'm in a humble beginning right now as we speak. But that is a lot of inspiration. He came from the gutter and got the BET and was able to do something that he dreamt of doing. That's amazing within itself. Rap City gave T.I. his first big break. His first appearance was on Rap City, and he was fresh out the trap. He was selling drugs, and that was his first opportunity. And he took that first opportunity and ran with that. And he never had to sell drugs again. Again, nobody knows what a person had to go through before they got to where they are. You know what I mean? And BET being instrumental to that situation, which is why it sucks now when I hear people call it EBT. I hate it when people call it that. I do hate it when people call it that. And I've been guilty for doing it in the past, but I don't like that. You know, that's our only means. You know what I mean? Like, that's what we got, and we need to respect it. Period. I hate it how we treat black things like it's the chilling circuit. You know, I hate that. But you know, it is what it is. So it's the early 1990s. There seems to be like this transition of hip hop from East Coast conscious rap to now we got the Chronic. We got Ain't Nothing But a G Thing. We got 1, 2, 3 into the folks. Snoop Doggy Dogg and Dr. Dre's at the door. Ready to make an entrance, so back on up. Cause you know I'm about to rip shit up. Give me the microphone first so I can bust like a bubble. Compton and Long Beach together, man, you know you in trouble. Ain't nothing but a G thing, baby. 2 broke down niggas going crazy. Death row is the money that pays me. Inflatable, some niggas try to fake hits. But back to the lecture at hand. Reflections into understand from a young TG's perspective. Oh, love it. In the minute you gonna be earning a man and learning a man, and at the same time burning a man. And you know I ain't lying with this shit. But then ain't no pussy good enough to give her while I'm up in it. And that's the real what? How I go? And that's the real deal. Now that's the big deal, real deal, holy feel. And now you hookers and hoes know how I feel. Okay. Give you a small piece of something, that funky stuff. It's like this and like that and like this and it's like that and like this and like that and it's like this and like that and like this and what? What? And I'm creeping and I'm creeping and I'm creeping. What? What? Don't get me started on Tupac. When you was young, you man. When I was young, me and my mama had beef, 17 years old, kicked out on the streets. And back at the time, I never thought I'd see her face. Ain't no woman alive that can take my mama's place. Suspended from school, scared to go home. I was a fool with the big boys breaking all the rules. I shared tears with my baby sister, and we were kids. We was born another little kids. And even though we had different daddies, the same drama. And things went wrong, we playing mama. I reminisced on the stress I caused. It was hell, hugging on my mama from a jail cell. And we ain't thinking elementary. Hey, I see the penitentiary one day. Running from the police, that's right. Mama catch me, put a whooping to my backside. And even as a crack fiend, mama, you always was a black queen, mama. I finally understand for a woman, it ain't easy trying to raise a man. You always was committed. The boys say your mother on welfare. Tell me how you feel. There's no way I could pay you back. But my plan is to show you that I understand. You all appreciate West Coast rap, okay? The shit I grew up on. Period. Okay. So Dre, what up, dog? You got to give them what they want. What's that, G? You got to break them out something. Hell yeah. And it's got to be bump in the city of Compton. What? Y'all don't know that about me. So now we're getting to Big Les, okay? Now, Big Les was the first female host of Rap City. Les auditioned for Rap City 5 times. And the network was not trying to see no female person hosting no rap show. She was a former dancer. That's what most people knew her for. Then she became a choreographer and the Around the Way girl. And then we started seeing how important females were to Rap City as the years went on. Because there was a time where you had Eve as, guest hosting and stuff like that. You had all these different females, Lil Kim, Foxy Brown, all these different people on the show. So females were definitely important to Rap City. Then we start to see a lot of hip hop artists selling products for big corporations and hip hop artists becoming actors and their actors being bigger than their acting career being bigger than their hip hop careers. And then music videos was important. Visuals are very important to your craft and to your music and the promotion of your music. And then we meet at the end of this, we're at the end of it now. We meet Greg Diggs. He was the director of music video programming at BET, right? From 1994 to 1999. He was in charge of putting the videos in place. If you had a music video that you wanted to be played on BET, it had to go through him. And he had to place the videos where they needed to be placed, like Video Vibrations, Video Soul, Rap City. He was in charge of that. And Rap City was there to break artists. That was there to break the artist. Period. You needed Rap City. And this is why I say, and that's pretty much the end of the show, but this is why I always say that Rap City, shows like Rap City, shows like, 106 and Park, shows like that, we never really know what these shows really mean to us until they're gone. You know what I mean? Like, I would say that I would personally say that we took shows like Rap City and we took shows like 106 in Park for granted. Like I said, I remember how my middle school days used to go. Like my TV would be on BET literally all day long throughout middle school. Like when we would get out of school around 2:45. Rap City come on at 3 o'clock. I walk home from school. We live like literally a block away from the school. Run home. take me about maybe about 2 minutes to get to the house. I get home just in time for Rap City. My mama done got done watching her Guiding Light, her General Hospital, because she ain't like Passions. She get through watching that. Rap City come on. Be on for 2 hours. Then at 5 o'clock, 106 in Park come on. 6:30, BET.com countdown come on. That's exactly how that went. And I loved it. As a person that was a music lover and someone that was down with the cause and loved music at a young age, those shows were very much so important to me. And that's why I had to do and I had to cover this documentary because those Rap City is one of the important factors of my life growing up as a music head. And I had to do this. Even though I asked y'all first before I decided to do it, I knew that I was going to do it. The same way I did the Murder Inc. story. I knew I had to do this. So with that being said, y'all, I really hope y'all enjoyed doing this video. I will say that as I film this, this is one of my favorite videos that I've done this year. Because this is something I'm really passionate about. And I just got to be honest with y'all. Like, I mean, I don't want to make this a me thing once again, but I think this is very important to bring up. Celebrity gossip is not anything that I'm passionate about. That's why it comes across like when I do the stories, they're half baked or things like that. You know, I do it because I know that's what the people want and I do it in the best of my abilities. Music is a passion. Like I said, I grew up in music. I write music. You know, I make demos and I sing demos. You know, vocal produce. At least I try to vocal produce. You know, I do those things. I've always been into music. I've always been into the essence of it. That's why I have so many opinions about music itself. You know what I mean? So this is something that's passionate for me as a music person, as a person who enjoyed these shows, as a person that wants to see urban music continue to live on in the way that it needs to be. You know, so this is probably one of my favorite videos that I've done all year because it's something that I care about. I don't give about Christian and Blueface. I care about the culture of music. That's what I care about. I'm my happiest when I talk about this type of stuff. I think y'all see that. I would hope y'all see that. So yes, the documentary runs from Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And you guys will get y'all reviews the very next day, which is like today is Wednesday, and the show came on yesterday. Y'all getting y'all reviews the day after, you know, for each part of the documentary because it's only 3 parts. And like I said, it was very good watching it, like going through the essence of hip hop, talking about the troubling times of the 80s, talking about the first time we talked about BET came out, the first time they started doing music videos, like the inception of Rap City, like the Yo MTV raps and the video music box, and how it was hard for Black artists to come and get their music played on TV, and how MTV did not want Black artists on their platforms because they wanted to cater to other genres of music. And hip hop was something that people thought was a fad. Hip hop was a secondary genre to people. They didn't think it was a business. They didn't think it was no money behind it. And then you look at it now and you see how huge hip hop is and how important hip hop is to the culture. Hip hop influences a lot of these people out here and they don't want to admit that, but hip hop influences a lot of these people that's not even in hip hop. And that's just real. Real shit. I can talk about this all day. But this video already almost 40 minutes. But as I stated, I really hope y'all enjoyed this video like I did. I hope you guys enjoy hearing it. And I hope that this review makes you go and watch that documentary because it's really, really good. Y'all need to get into it. But anyway, this is your boy, Scotty by Nature TV. I want to thank all the Scotty gang for tuning in, the new subscribers that may be tuning in, and the hate watchers that I know are watching. Thank you guys for tuning in. Be sure to like, rate, comment, subscribe, share this video, and click on the notification bell so you can be notified whenever a video drops. And if you want to follow me on any form of social media, my Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok will be down below. And I will leave you guys with the promo from the Chasing panel, which will be airing tonight at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. No, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. I'll see you guys later. Bye.